1976 didn't feel transitional, it felt confident. Rock wasn't fighting for space anymore. Disco was rising fast. Singer-songwriters were polished. Production was bigger. Radio was sharper. This wasn't the early 70s figuring itself out. This was a year that knew exactly what it sounded like. So tonight, we're not just looking at hits. We're looking at the songs that defined 1976, the ones that shaped the year, the ones that captured its mood, the ones that, the second you hear them, drop you straight back into that moment. Let's start with something that didn't just dominate, it took over. Don't Go Breaking My Heart, Elton John and Kiki D. Bright, playful, unapologetically catchy. This song didn't ask for depth. It asked for fun. It felt like pure pop confidence at a time when Elton John was already a giant. Man, it wasn't heavy. It wasn't complicated. It was joy engineered for radio. And it worked. It defined how mainstream pop could feel effortless in 1976. Now let's shift into something heavier and far more mysterious. Hotel California, Eagles. This wasn't just a hit, it was atmosphere. From the opening chords, the song pulls you into a world that feels glamorous and slightly unsettling at the same time. It was polished, layered, and cinematic, and in many ways it marked the height of 70s California rock. Glossy on the surface, complicated underneath. This wasn't just a radio song, it became a cultural reference point. Now let's bring in something that felt raw and unapologetic. Play that funky music, Wild Cherry. If 1976 had an anthem for dance floors that didn't care about genre lines, this was it. It was rock, it was funk, it was groove first, and it crossed audiences effortlessly. You didn't have to choose sides, you just moved. That kind of crossover energy defined the mid-70s, and this song captured it perfectly. Now let's talk about a song that felt like a statement. Bohemian Rhapsody, Queen. Technically released earlier in the UK, but in 1976 it exploded in the United States. It didn't follow rules. It didn't fit radio formats. It shifted tones. It shifted tempo. It felt theatrical, almost operatic. And somehow it worked. It proved that audiences were willing to follow ambition, even when it broke structure. That kind of risk-taking defined the creative confidence of 1976. Now let's pivot to something smooth. Love is Alive, Wright. This song felt modern, sleek, synth-driven. It didn't lean on heavy guitar, it leaned on texture. And that texture signaled something important. The 80s were coming. 1976 still belonged to rock. 1976 still belonged to rock, but the technology was shifting. This track quietly hinted at where things were headed. Next up, something deeply reflective. More than a feeling, Boston. From the first note, this song felt expansive. Big guitars, clean production, emotional vocals. It wasn't gritty, it was polished. And that polish defined the arena rock sound that would dominate the late 70s and early 80s. It felt massive without feeling chaotic, and it set the blueprint for what radio rock would become. Now let's move to something intimate. If You Leave Me Now, Chicago. Soft, vulnerable, almost fragile. In a year filled with bold production, this song pulled everything back. It relied on harmony, on restraint, and it became one of the most emotionally resonant tracks of the year. 1976 wasn't just loud, it was layered. Now let's bring in disco. December 1963, Oh, What a Night, The Four Seasons. It was nostalgic about a time that had barely passed. It was upbeat, infectious, and it marked how established groups could reinvent themselves inside the disco wave. The groove was undeniable, and it proved that no one was immune to the dance floor in 1976. Next, something unmistakably gritty. Don't Fear, The Reaper, Blue Öyster Cult. Dark but melodic, mysterious but accessible. This song walked the line between mainstream rock and something more atmospheric. It didn't scream, it lingered. And that haunting tone made it one of the defining rock tracks of the year. Finally, let's close with something triumphant. When Tonight's the Night, Rod Stewart. It was intimate, confident, slightly provocative, and it captured the softer side of 70s masculinity in a way that resonated widely. It wasn't aggressive, it was persuasive. And it closed out 1976 with a kind of slow-burning confidence. So what did 1976 sound like? It sounded polished. It sounded ambitious. It sounded unafraid to blend genres. Rock, disco, funk, soft pop, all coexisting on the same radio dial. It was a year that knew exactly what it was doing, and that's why these songs still feel definitive. If one of these tracks instantly took you back to where you were in 1976, drop it in the comments. And if there's a song from that year you think defined it even more, make the case. Because the deeper we go into the decade, the clearer it becomes. The 70s didn't just have hits. They had identity. Keep that turntable spinning.